Dating after divorce with children. So this is one of the struggles that everybody has when they want to re-enter the dating market and they have children, and there are numerous concerns. First of all, one of the top concerns are, what is the viability for me to even find somebody who would want to date me despite the fact that I have children? Well, I'm here to tell you, regardless of your age, most people that you're going to enter into the dating market with, especially in your 30s and above, have children, have had children. Now, where this might differ is going to be your custody arrangements, the relationship that you have with your ex-spouse, the parent of those children, and your availability. So obviously, you don't need to broadcast everything to everyone. And so therefore, things like what your custody arrangement is, what your relationship is with your ex, all of those things will play a factor, but it's not the first thing that you need to present. First of all, you want to find out, is this person that I'm about to date a viable, have the potential for a future viable relationship? I would say that if that's the case, then there is important information that you need to relay. When we say dating with children, dating after a divorce with children, for the sake of this conversation, let's just assume these are children that live still in your home. Adult children really don't play a factor when it comes to dating back in the dating market. So, with that said, you're going to want to make sure that that information is conveyed, because that could be a potential deal breaker for somebody, or it could be something that they prefer. There are both men and women that have children, and they're looking for somebody else who's in a very similar boat, understanding their demanding schedule and understanding the circumstances around the custody of the children. And so if you're on a dating app, that's obvious. There's obvious spots where to put that I have children. If it's somebody that you meet in public, you don't have to just come out and say it. It's not people don't not expect it, regardless of your age. And I have met people across the spectrum that have the spectrum of ages that have children from very young to much older than normal, and it's never honestly surprised me. I've never been like, oh gasp, you have children. I have follow-up questions. So if I'm meeting someone, and let's say I'm at a coffee shop, it's amazing how quickly women you all know this, can convey that you have children. So it's usually one of the first things that come out as we're talking. I'll say, hey, I was just walking by. I noticed you look beautiful today. Hi, my name's Gary, and I'm looking for cues to see if she's interested. This is a whole nother conversation for another story. Is she going to ask me by name? If I'm asking her how her day's going, is she interested in how my day's going? And then typically from there, what I'll hear is something like, I have a daughter's softball game today, or I have my son's soccer game, or children are pretty much imported into that conversation quickly. I think men try to navigate through this territory with a little bit more nuance and try to withhold that information. I would just say be upfront. Don't force it, but just say, oh, that's great. Yeah, great that you're having a great weekend with your girls Saturday. I have, I'll be, if she asks, I'll be taking my kiddos back to their moms. It'll be a long weekend, but it'll be a good weekend. I love when I have them. Something very nonchalant like that. Now, when it comes to your actual children, I would say, as the question really about dating after divorce with children, what is that like? What does that entail? Usually means that you're recently divorced. You're asking these questions because you're confused on how it's going to work or what it's going to look like. I would say, because you're re-entering the dating market, to just keep the children out of it as much as possible. Even if you start with a platonic relationship, I would say you don't know how these things are going to end, and exposing them too quickly to somebody else can be awkward for them, and especially if you don't know the sustainability of this. And in many cases, you don't even know yourself currently. You're trying to relearn who you are post divorce. So I would say just to reduce complexity, there's no need for your children to be involved in this equation early on. I would say be upfront. I would say let them know your custody situations. Find out what theirs are. See if there's compatibility. If you guys notice, okay, weekends that you have them, they don't, vice versa. That's going to be complicated. Um, if you both happen to have free time around the same time, that's ideal. And then you can just navigate from there. And then when to when to introduce people to your children, I would say that's a much longer game, one that you don't have to worry about right now. So the big thing in this regard is dating after a divorce with children is no more complex than dating, period. You just want to be upfront, you want to be transparent, and you don't want to introduce your children into any of these factors at this point. And if you do have a very bad working relationship with your spouse, I would try to make sure that that is as solidified as possible before you move forward. Just make sure that you have as a workable arrangement as possible, because you don't want to introduce friction into somebody else's life. You don't want to introduce complexity. Now, for me, being a single dad and divorced, and my ex has moved on with a new relationship, which I'm happy for. A lot of times when I have free time, I want to see my kids. If I'm not dating, I'm wanting to spend time with my children. So that's a minor level of complexity. So when a woman asks me, when do you see your children? I say the basic, right now we have, 60-40 split, and the days I don't have them, I'm usually trying to pick them up, take them to the park, go to the movies, go to the gym, pool, and have a good time with them. So but if I'm in a solidified relationship where we're seeing each other on a regular basis, that can be arranged as well with set dates. Just be open, just be transparent, but really try to work hard on making sure that the divorce custody situations are where they should be before you introduce anybody into your life. And so that's all I have to say today. It's very possible, it's very workable, it's very expected. There's not a lot of stress involved here. Just move forward and you'll be okay.